season, which I'm sure will be just as much of a classic as this season has been. It's been a great season. That's for certain. Whilst the numbers may not have been there, it's not shown with the racing. The racing has been fantastic. The storylines that the drivers have created throughout the season have been incredible. And of course, we do have a brand new winner. We do have a new champion in TMS Sora. After he narrowly missed out on the title last season, he lost it out to Melanie in season 13 in heartbreaking circumstances in Saudi Arabia. But he's done it this season. He came back and he's got the job done for Red Bull. His teammate, TMS Amaze, Currently, well, I was about to say he's just about to start his second flying lap, but he looks to have clipped the grass on entry to La Source, so that will be that for his second qualifying lap. But yeah, I agree, Apex. It's been a brilliant season on track. As mentioned, whilst the numbers haven't always been there, it's still been a fantastic season to watch and to commentate. So yeah, it's been a great season, and we have 22 more laps and 7 more minutes in this qualifying session of fun to get through before we can look ahead to LCR season 15, obviously, and move back to Sundays, which I'm not sure was actually confirmed. I really hope that was already confirmed. If not, I've let that cat out of the bag. Anyway, let's see who's on a lap at the moment in this qualifying session. Let's have a look. Maffio seems to be on the move in this qualifying session as he approaches the back end of the circuit. It's about to charge through Blanchimont, flat out, easy flat in these F1 cars these days, and now into the bus stop. Yeah, such a crucial braking zone of the circuit. Let's see what Maffio can do. Up to the line, and it is provisional pole by some margin, by the way. 0.6 of a second. Separating him and Line Violet at the top of the standings. That's a cracking lap from the Mercedes. See what, if Amaze is gonna, no, yeah, Amaze is bailing into the pit lane. LCR Apex on an out lap. BRT Ventham on a lap. Oh, sorry, on an out lap. Is he going to be, or has this been a scrap lap? I think that lap might have been scrapped, and he's going to go again with 6 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. And Woofy rounds final corner, rounds off the bus stop chicane, up the line for the AlphaTauri, puts the AlphaTauri onto the head of the third row of the grid. Solid lap from I'm Woofy in the AlphaTauri. So then, BRT Ventham coming through Rouge and Rayon. Back end looking for just to be slightly, ever so slightly protesting as he climbed the hill there. Now down the Camel Straight. Right, it's all flat out in excess of 210 miles an hour. And now into Les Combes. It's got that nice and tidy India. I actually didn't see how far up he was into Bruxelles here. And then into No Name. It's looked tidy so far from McLaren. Last week's race winner, the 2-time race winner now is BRT Bentham. One at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalonia. He gets clips the curb on entry to Buon. Keeps the McLaren facing the right direction. Great bit of car control from BRT Bentham, and he's run a little bit wide. Just a little bit wide. Through the little left-right. Quite sure what the corner name is there. I never have been sure. Into Stavlo though. And now he'll be charging up towards Blanchimont in the McLaren. I think he had about, what was it, a second in his back pocket, so I guess it's still on a decent lap despite the hairy moment at Pouon. Here we go then, into the bus stop chicane, under a mirror board, straight line braking for the McLaren. It was an interesting comparison actually. I think Maffio dove for the apex a little bit more out into the bus stop chicane. Ventham up to the line, puts on provisional pole position, 1 minute 41.862. Puts last week's race winner on pole position. Of course, with Sora not here, a pole position and a race victory. Let me just double check, because this will be heartbreaking if it ends up like this. So, if Bentham was to claim pole position and was to win this race, he would have missed out on the title by a single point to TMS Sora. In fact, it would be 2 points, because Sora would have been able to claim it on countback by way of having more wins. That's already confirmed. Sora with 4 race victories, as opposed to Bentham's 2 at the moment, and what would be his 3rd. Apex has now his lap time, currently P7 in the Aston Martin. Amazed on an out lap. What can the Scotsman conjure up here in Spa-Francorchamps? Can he put that Red Bull in a position where he might be able to start a challenge for his first ever LCR race victory in a long, long time? I think we worked out it was season 8. I think it was season 8 Melbourne. I think we worked that out last week. It was his last ever race victory in LCR, all the way back on F1 2019. And now, fast forward to F1 2023, and the bridesmaid of LCR hasn't quite managed to break that duck just yet. Could today be the day? Well, a good qualifying position wouldn't go amiss, would it? As he approaches the middle sector now, and he clips the curb on entry. That Red Bull hasn't looked settled. To be honest, it looked unsettled into the source on his previous attempt, and it didn't look settled there either. But I think on this occasion, he's just going to have to say, you know what, I need to get a time on the board. You know, no matter how far off it is, how far off compared to what I can do, I've just got to get a time on the board. So here we go, then Timus amazed. Now we'll be approaching the last sector. This time cutting sits at a 1 minute 14.1 through the middle sector. Now he's approaching the last sector. He's got the Mercedes of Maffio, who should get out of his way, and does. Now through plunging on for the Scotsman into the tricky bus stop chicane. It's such a nightmare of a braking zone, especially at the end of such a long lap. Such a tricky braking zone to get right. With everything else that you've already done, everything else you've already got right, and Mays up the line, despite the car looking very unsettled, puts that Red Bull onto the head of the second row of the grid. But you'd think that is the Red Bull done and dusted for this qualifying session, with him backing out and 1 minute 30 remaining of the session. That is indeed the case. Maffio will be the next crossing matches. It's just a car further up the road. Indeed he is. Ventham's out of the session. Ventham's decided that's that. In fact, he's in the pit lane, so Ventham couldn't do anything. Right then, we have a minute left in this qualifying session. BRT Ventham's 1 minute 41.862 is the benchmark. What have the other drivers got in store, and what can they conjure up? Can they take pole position, the final pole position of LCR season 14, away from McLaren? Maffio currently looks the favourite to do so. You know, he's been the closest to him all session, really, in those two all the way. But will anything come further back? Will be line by that, or Benjamin Houseman. And they were at 1 point second and third in this qualifying session, if memory serves me correctly. Could they conjure up? Have they got a lot of time to find in the Williams and Alfa Romeo respectively? Who knows? Maffio in the Mercedes is charging through the middle sector. He's got it nice and tight. Always missed the apex, so ever so slightly through Stablo. He's got half a tenth in his back pocket. It needs to find a good tenth and a half through the bus stop chicane if he's going to have any chance to claim his first ever LCR pole position. Here comes Maffio then in the Mercedes. Can he put that Silver Arrows onto pole position? It's a bit more straight line braking for the Mercedes. He's locked the rears though onto entry. As that Kennedy saved it. It's a good exit for the Mercedes. Can he? No, he's round. He's given up on it. He locked the rears onto entry of the bus stop chicane, and Maffio has not been able to get the job done. We look further behind to I'm Woofy, who's invited his lap. Right, Line Violet is a couple tenths up, but he's invited his lap, so that'll be that. Amazed, obviously not on a lap, so it's really realistically Benjamin Houseman, who's purple through the middle sector. Benjamin Houseman, are you on for a amazing LCR pole position? Who knows? Through plunging on for the final time. Realistically, I think he's the only challenger to BRT Ventum at the top of the timing screen. Bit more of a GT braking style for Ben into the bus stop chicane. Fires it out the bus stop chicane. Is it provisional pole? It's not, but it is the head of the second row of the grid for Benjamin Houseman in the Alfa Romeo. Blue Goggy. Pole sitter in Singapore. Decent exit out the bus stop chicane. What's it going to be for the Haas driver? He puts onto the second row of the grid. In the Haas, an all Ferrari powered second row. And now we wait for the season 1 champion, the veteran, LCR Apex. Will be the last man to complete a qualifying lap in season 14, as I believe that's the race just starting to kick off. So they've just avoided the rain at the end of qualifying. Apex up to the line. Does look like an improvement for the Season 1 champion LBPA on the grid for the Aston Martin.
방월 확률이 20% 미만이었거든요. 자, 오늘은 어쨌든
So then, it's BRT Ventham
월드의 마지막 날이라서
who claims the last pole position of LCR Season 14. He gets another 2 points.
연습은 당연히 안 했고요.
And it looks like he's the man to beat here in Spa, which will lead to a very, if he does prove to be the man to beat and wins this race, it'll be a very heartbreaking 1 point difference between himself and TMS Sora at the top of the timing screens. And then, you know, we said it last week, you just have to look back to Melbourne and think what could have been. Maffio will join him on the second row. Benjamin Houseman and Blue Gorgie making it all Ferrari powered second row. Team SMA's and Line Violet complete the third row of the grid. And then it'll be I'm Wafi, LCR Apex and Chili Con Carnage to round off the grid.
하드가 많이 없거든요. 일단 하드로 제가 연습을 했고 기름 차는 거 이런 거 다 까먹어요.
The last dance of LCR Season 14 is upon us as we travel to the Ardennes Forest where the iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit is located. With both titles decided, we have a bit of a free-for-all which should create some great racing to bring the season to a close, and also the Saturday era of LCR as we move back to Sundays for LCR Season 15. My name is LCR Leopard, this is the final round of the season, and I've been very happy to bring you the action over the course of the season, and very happy to bring you the action for the final race of the season here in Spa-Francorchamps. To bring the season to a close, as mentioned, nothing to be decided as far as the big prizes are concerned, whether that's the driver's title or the constructors. Timo Sora wrapped up the driver's title in qualifying last week in Monza, and because he is not here today, that means that it's impossible for Red Bull to overhaul McLaren at the top of the constructors, so McLaren are your constructors champions. But, so with that all said and done, we can all relax, have a bit of fun to bring the season to a close. You have 22 laps of this brilliant Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Who will be victorious in the final round of the season? Well, let's look towards the grid then. We have BRT Ventham taking pole position by just around 1 3/4 tenths to the man starting behind him on a softer compounded tyre, Maffio. In the Silver Arrows, opting for the medium tyres to start this Grand Prix. BRT Ventham on the hard compound tyres. Benjamin Houseman puts his Alfa Romeo into P3. He heads the second row of the grid. He also, like Ventham, opting for the hard compound tyres. Blue Gorgie in his fellow Ferrari-powered, or his Benjamin Houseman's Ferrari-powered companion, Blue Gorgie, starts P4 in the Haas, opting for the medium tyres. So hard, medium for the top four, and then the Scotsman breaks the trend by also starting on the medium tyres. He heads the third row of the grid in the Red Bull. Could today be the day when Team SMA's claims his first victory since Melbourne Season 8? Got 22 laps to find out, and potentially maybe some safety cars or some weather might help him along the way. Who knows? LCR Line Violet in the Williams, a Korean on the hard compound tyres for Williams in P6, and then I'm Woofy in the AlphaTauri on the mediums in P7, and then the LCR Season 1 champion LCR Apex starting P8 on the hards, and then Silicon Carnage rounds off the grid on the medium compound tyre in 9th. So some split strategies. BRT Ventham already at his grid slot, while Silicon Carnage hasn't even reached the bus stop. That's why PC is playing silly games, I don't need that anyway. Right then, all has been decided. But we still have 22 laps of racing here in LCR Season 14. Last dance of the season. 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we are underway here in Belgium, in the Ardennes. BRT Bentham's got away nicely on those hard compound tyres. He's unchallenged into the source, but Mafio on those softer compound tyres on the mediums follows him right through into second place. And now it'll be all about the drive up Rouge and Radion. Here on lap 1 of 22, Mafio is going to get in the slipstream of the McLaren. He's going to use it to great effect. He's going to use the opening. He's got a brilliant slingshot. It's mirror signal manoeuvre, and Mafio is into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. But Ventum's going to try and come back at him into the comp, but nothing doing. Mafio makes brilliant use of those softer compounded tyres, and Mafio leads here in Spa. Ventum's lost in behind into P2, and Timus Amade's made a good start. He's made up a couple of positions. He's up into P3. Blue Goggy holds position in P4. He's actually defending from Benjamin Hausman. P5, and it's now been a light rain I saw. Potentially, are the hard tyres not the tyres of choice? Is that sponsored rain? I don't know. It's lap 1 of 22. And if it is sponsored rain, it's going to be a treacherous couple of opening laps. Like Woofy a little bit wide there through the middle sector. Violet will maybe look to try and capitalise. And Blue Goggy is round in the middle sector, and that is going to throw out a virtual safety car, I do believe. We have yellows in sector 2 and 3. Is it a virtual safety car? Indeed it is. So, virtual safety car on lap 1. Blue Goggy, the pole sitter from Singapore, still hasn't quite got it going in the drive for him, has he? He's brilliant in the wet, we noticed that. Just hasn't quite got that car firing in the dry conditions. So Mafio leads, he's got a second advantage over BRT. Well, I guess we'll know what the gaps are like after the virtual safety car. They usually are a bit... They can usually change a bit, the gaps. It's not quite a fair equaliser, really, because it really depends on when that virtual safety car ends. And really how much how you can time the delta. So you can, there is still, there's time to gain. There's also time to be lost if you get it wrong, and we are back underway just like that. And as we mentioned, it was roughly a second. It's now well under a second as BRT Bentham seems to have timed the safety car restart to perfection. TMS Maze has also followed the McLaren. Oh, he's locked the rear, so those rear. I've been moving the brake bias up if I was TMS Maze, because in qualifying, the rear of that car and the braking did not look settled, and it's still not looking settled in the race either. That brake bias needs to go up, even if it is just for certain corners. Make the most of the tools at your disposal. Because that car is not settled at all under braking for TMS Amaze. Mafia, though, at the front on the medium tyres, making good use of those softer compound tyres. And, well, what might have looked like a couple spots of rain on lap 1, you can just about see that the sun might just be about to come out. Might be a sunny day after all, here in the Ardennes Forest, here at Spa-Francorchamps, as they come through Plongimont for the second time, lap 2 of 22. Mafio leads the way. Obviously he has never won an LCR Grand Prix before, has the Mercedes. He sets a fast lap of the Grand Prix, Bentham follows, as does Amaze, as does Benjamin Hausman, and that this might just be way of more time under green flag racing. And DRS will be enabled now. This will be crucial. It was crucial in Monza last week. You could argue just as crucial, maybe not quite as crucial, but certainly near enough just as crucial as it was in Monza, because here we go then, look at this, DRS trains. Mafio, with those softer tyres, has not been able to shake, the McLaren of BRT Bentham, and those softer tyres, the big advantage is really in those opening couple laps. Now these opening couple laps are basically over, especially as Bentham now has DRS to cling onto the back of him. That's that, this advantage tyre-wise will neutralise. And all Bentham, the only time Bentham's now going to lose on strategy between now and the rest of the race will be the time Mafio gains via the undercut onto the hard tyres. You know, that's the only laps Mafio's now going to be gaining time over BRT Bentham. If Bentham doesn't make a mistake, or if Mafio tries, doesn't try and go for it and break out of DRS. So Mafio's got a bit of thinking to do about how he plays this race. Because right now, I would say on the hard compound tyres, it's advantage BRT Bentham. They're similarly matched on in fact all three of them are very similarly matched when it comes to the battery department. So a little bit of a look further down, Amaze, that's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. LCR line violet took in behind the AlphaTauri of Einbrook. Let's see, what position changes did we have then in these opening few laps? So Mafia obviously jumped BRT Bentham, now it's down the camel straight into Les Combes. In fact, we'll go on board with the battle for P1 because I do believe that Bentham might just fancy having a look down into Les Combes. Is he going to be mirror signal maneuver? Indeed it is. McLaren and BRT Bentham making use of the DRS, and he's into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Mafia getting a bit out of shape in the process at Les Combes. And now Bentham on those hard tyres leads the way for McLaren. They're already Constructors champions. Bentham looks fairly set on being P2. In fact, I think he already will have secured P2 in the standings. I'll give that just a bit of a double check. Indeed he has. So Bentham has secured P2 in the drivers, and he'll be looking to say, well, I know you're not here, Sora, and you might well have been if you did have something to fight for. But if it wasn't for Melbourne, I would be the man, crown champion, if I go on to win this race. I mean, he might only have to finish second, depending on how many points he'd have gained in Melbourne. You just don't know. You just don't know. Oh, Mafia's gone straight on, just about avoids the back of BRT Bentham's McLaren, and actually I thought he was going to lock the rears and do a bit of a pirouette, but he just about keeps that Mercedes facing the right direction, and now he's got to defend a little bit. I think that's I'm Woofy round on the exit of the bus stop chicane. Indeed it is. And Mafia, who's a bit deep into the source, and they both recognise that this is an opportunity for both of them. Mafia needs to get back within DRS range of McLaren. And I think there is no DRS for the Mercedes and Mafia at the moment. He has used the overtake, he has used the slipstream, so he is back within that 1 second window where he didn't have DRS that time around. And now, all those medium tyres go off so much already that Bentham might just be able to pull clear through the middle sector and check out here in Spa-Francorchamps. Again, that Mercedes not looking quite as settled. It's been a very untidy half a lap or so. But Mafia needs to get back his composure ASAP, because the most important thing, if you're Mafia, is making sure you have DRS next time around on the run to Les Combes. If he doesn't have it, then he's, one, going to be vulnerable to the Red Bull of Team SMAs, and two, his chances of victory are going to be severely decreased by, it's just, again, Amaze a bit wide through Stavelot. Just about keeps the Red Bull facing the right way. As the approach launch one, and Mafia is going to use the battery. And I think Friday doesn't make a hash of the bus stop. In fact, he's very wide into the bus stop. It's untidy from the Mercedes. I mean, he gains time in the braking, but he's going to lose more of it through the middle corner and on exit. Just needs to tidy things up, does Mafia, in that Mercedes. Regains composure, make sure he's within the DRS range of McLaren and BRT Bentham ahead, and I think he has managed to do just that. So he will have DRS on the run up to Les Combes down the Camel Straight. I don't think he'll be looking for an overtake. I say that, he's gaining at a rate of knots. Is he going to be making a move into Les Combes? No, he thinks better on, but he backs out. Well, that just shows the difference the DRS can make, and or potentially the setup that the pair of them have. It might explain potentially why that Mercedes doesn't quite look so settled through the corners. You have yellows. Oh, I think Amaze's round. I think Amaze's finally the rear of the car. We're on board with Mafio, but I think Amaze into Bruxelles, or at least that's what my track map tells me. That corner name is. Has, you know, like in qualifying, locked the rears. Like that Red Bull's been threatening to do basically ever since he set out in qualifying. He's lost a few seconds, and now the fight for the lead goes down from 3 to 2 at the front of the field. So it looks like it's BRT Bentham versus Mafio for the race victory here today. Benjamin Hausman on those hard compound tyres, he might have a bit of pace in the Alfa Romeo to potentially blow to the back of them, especially if the two ahead start squabbling. But that's, you know, it's been a few times to Ben, I think, over the course of the season where he's just found himself in a bit of no man's land, in a decent position, whether it be third, fourth, fifth, wherever it may be, but not just like no man's land nevertheless. You know, he's not in a battle. You know, not challenging anyone up ahead of him, you know, not challenging him in front, but it's not challenging him behind either. You know, he's got to the middle of nowhere really. Third place is Alfa Romeo. Now this time Mafio's a lot closer, and I do believe he wants that lead of the race back. Does the Mercedes. Here we go. Into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix goes the Mercedes of Mafio. He retakes the lead here in Spa-Francorchamps. Once again, always a bit wide. Well, Bentham was a bit wide as well. Into Bruxelles, and now they come through no name for the 7th time. Benjamin Hausman still, I think he's lost a few tenths on this lap, and again, he eked the gap out to Timus Amaze as well a little bit. But Ben, you know, he got a podium, he got his first podium in Mexico. He got another podium as Apex is the first man to pick up a time penalty in this Grand Prix, in this free-for-all, if you will, to round off season 14. Yeah, no, Benjamin Hausman, he got a podium, his first podium in Mexico, and I think he backed that up in Singapore as well with his second ever podium. And right now, he's on course for a third here in Spa, here in Belgium. Meanwhile, looking further towards the battle for P4, Line Violet is all over the back of the Red Bull. He's going to look to the inside into the bus stop, is he? No, mate. Way later on the brakes in that Red Bull. I'm surprised he has the confidence to be able to really send out the braking, despite we lost it under braking a couple of times already over the weekend. But still, Amaze is confident they can get that Red Bull stopped. But now Line Violet will climb the hill through Eau Rouge, through Radion, now up the slipstream, out the slingshot, out the DRS. He's got the overtake if he so wishes. Here he goes, he's got the overtake now, does the Williams. Better take the one over easy as you like. LCR Line Violet into P4 here in the Belgian Grand Prix on lap 8 of 22. Good move there from the Williams driver. Looking even further down, it's looking like a torrid day down at AlphaTauri. I'm Buffy into the pit lane. I think he's had one spin already in Chili Cook Carnage. Might have had a spin, maybe just a little bit off the pace here today. But AlphaTauri not looking great for them so far here in the Belgian Grand Prix in the final round of LCR Season 14. Apex, like Ben, in a bit of no man's land at the moment. Also the only driver with a penalty, but also that's not going to matter too much if things were to stay as they are. Look at that Maze on those medium tyres. Those medium tyres might be past their best now on lap 8 of 22 as we approach lap 9 of 22. Will we see the Red Bull in pit lane? It'll be interesting if we do. Yeah, it will be interesting to see when that pit window is for the medium runners and the hard tyre runners. It could be quite similar. It might be 50-50 potentially. Because obviously the hard tyre runners, especially on the less fuel, might they'll be able to make those medium tyres last a little bit longer than those at the start of the race chose to. Here comes BRT Bentham, and well, it's a carbon copy of a few moves we've seen already. It's DRS, it's down the Camel Straight, and it's job done already. BRT Bentham, runner-up in this championship, moves back into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, and Maffio moves back down to P2 once again. And you'd say, despite they're very closely matched on track at the moment, but you'd have to say that with Bentham having, he's on the preferred strategy. He's on the strategy that, as of now, later on in the Grand Prix, he's going to be on the better tyres for the end of the Grand Prix. And considering he's already in the lead on the less favourable tyres, you'd have to say all the cards are in BRT Bentham's hand at the moment. He's got them all to play. Whereas Maffio, being on those medium tyres, might have just one hand tied behind his back ever so slightly. But that doesn't mean he can wriggle out of it. He just hasn't quite got as many options available to him. That doesn't mean he won't be able to execute those options if he can. The one thing he will have in his favour is he does have, I want to say, he does have a lower drag setting compared to the current BRT Bentham, and there we go. Timo Samates into the pit lane off those medium tyres. He has had enough of those tyres. That'll be a set of hards to the end of the Grand Prix, and barring any safety cars, will be the last scheduled pit stop for the Red Bull of the season. Yeah, that AlphaTauri is not looking settled at all into the bus stop. Having to really correct the car. Mid-corner almost, it looked like, which is not what you want. Yeah, Maffio has made. Oh, that's not ideal. He picks up a penalty, I think, through a rouge. Must have been through a rouge. Just like that, his chance to the podium or even a win if he gets a safety car. Just take that a little bit more of a hit with a 3-second time penalty. We'll be interested to see how much pace Lineweiler has in comparison to the Alfa Romeo of Benjamin Hausman. Up ahead, it's about a 4-second gap between the two. Let's just see what kind of pace the Williams has over the Alfa Romeo. Can he reel him in? And if so, by how much? We'll be able to reel him in. Yeah, we'll be able by a second, a few tenths, 2 seconds. We'll get right to the back of him. Will Ben just continue to eat that gap out? Who knows? Benjamin Hausman, interestingly, as I potentially, I did mention the fact that being midway through the race, they might just decide to split it 50-50. And I think in Benjamin Hausman's case, more of a 60-40 or 55-45. He's going to be doing more laps on those medium tyres, but he can get away with it being on being on less fuel. Those tyres aren't going to wear as quickly. As saying that, if he drives like that all the time, those tyres will wear quickly if he absolutely lights up the rears on pit exit. I mean, it's one way of getting temperature into the rear compound tyres, I suppose. A bit of flair, you can say, on exit for Benjamin Hausman on pit exit. And it will be interesting to see what now Lineweiler does in response, because he does have a bit of a pace advantage. What kind of strategy can help that? Will it be a case of, you know what, we've seen it a lot this season, I'm going to go long and see what happens. Will I be bailed out by a safety car? Am I going to be a hero, or am I going to be zero? You don't know. It's a risk worth taking. I think especially maybe if you're something like LCR Apex, it might just be worth saying, you know what, I'm just going to go long and see what happens. or if you're aligned by that, it might be worth just going long and seeing what happens. Maybe that might be the plan for Mafio on those medium tyres, and he'll have to put a soft in, depending on if he gets a safety car he wants. My goodness me, those, again, rear braking, laying him down, and might have just let him down so much that Bentham will be out of DRS, and Bentham again, it's like a few laps to go, realises that this is a chance to break the DRS, and this time, being later on in the Grand Prix, they've used more ERS, which will mean, and as you can see, it's the second time Mafio's had to do this. He's had to use a bit more ERS than he would have initially planned, thanks to a mistake, which means his battery is more depleted than you'd like. And you look at Bentham, he's been solid all race, and he has 60% battery still to deploy, whereas Mafio only has half of that. And I think now, not only I think Bentham has a slightly higher downforce setting, so that's going to help him through the middle sector. He's probably got better tyres by this point. So then, as you can see, Bentham, at this stage of the Grand Prix, last time he broke out of DRS, it didn't last long, and Mafia was right back there straight away. This time, lap 12 and 22, BRT Bentham has managed to pull the pit, has managed to pull clear, and now there's a 1.6 second lead at the front of the field. And you think if you're Mafia, you're surely going to be into the pits. Maybe if you're BRT Bentham, you're surely into the pits to cover off any undercut. Who knows? Who knows what they have installed down at McLaren and Mercedes Benjamin Houseman. The Maze and line by the all pass as well. That's because LCR Apex is pitting for a fresh set of compound tyres. So then, Mafio goes long, Bentham into the pit. I did say it might be wise for Bentham to cover off an undercut from Mafio, and he's done just that. BRT Bentham into the pit, so it'll be a fresh set of medium compound tyres to the end of the Grand Prix pit on lap 12 and 22, so it'll be around 10 laps remaining. Now, Benjamin Houseman did come in early for a set of medium tyres, and he was only a few seconds behind the leaders, the top two, and you can see that gap is a bit closer, but maybe not as close as he'd have hoped. He probably would like just another second, maybe one more lap of Bentham being on those hard compound tyres would have done the trick. Well, saying that, might be able to jump Mafia. In fact, I think you almost certainly will, provided he doesn't drop the back end through Lecom. If he keeps it clean, then I'm fairly certain he actually will jump the Mercedes and Mafio into second place. Which will almost certainly be I think will be his best ever finish in LCR. I've got the standings right here. Benjamin Houseman, yeah, 2 third places, so if he was to finish second, that would be his best ever finish in his LCR career for Alfa Romeo. He's around 2.3, and yeah, you look at, Mafio has already lost a lot of time on this lap, so what has Mafio got in store? Well, he's coming into the pits, but for what tyre? He's done quite a few laps on those medium tyres. He's done the most laps out of anyone, whether it be medium or hard tyres. Is there a gamble down at Mercedes, or is it just going to be a fresh set of hards? It's a gamble. It's a set of softs to the end of the Belgian Grand Prix. They've gone big at Mercedes. The team from Brackley have crunched the numbers and have decided, you know what, lads, this might be the way to go. It's a gamble, but it's a gamble worth taking, and with it being the final race of the season, why not? Mafio has gone for a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and that is the way he has decided he's going to try and win this Grand Prix. He's got 5 seconds to close in on BRT Bentham, and he's gone out for Romeo in the way as well. It's crunch time in the Ardennes. What is in store for the remainder of this Grand Prix? We're about to find out, as Mafio is going to be on an absolute charge in the Silver Arrow of that Mercedes. Team estimates on the hard compound tyres, 2.6 seconds away from Mafio. He's not closing in on him anytime soon. If anything, we line Violet on the mediums. That'll be closing in on TMS Amazed. But I think it's already ahead of him by way of penalties. Ventham, I think, might have just pulled the pin. He's seen that Mafio's on a set of softs and decided, nah, I'm pulling the pin now. Here we go then. Lap 14 and 22 will be soon lap 15 and 22. And this race just got very, very intriguing by a bold strategy call from Mercedes for Mafio. He'll almost certainly get ahead of Benjamin Hausman, whether it be this lap or next lap. You know, decent exit out of the source, won't go amiss. Overtake on for the Mercedes driver using the middle battery, so he's going to have the DRS available to him. I do think he's a little bit too far back to make anything work, and what might be crucial is he doesn't have the ERS to burn either. Understandably, Mafio goes purple through sector 1. Now he comes through Lecon, and they'll charge up towards Bruxelles, but again, it's just not close enough to make a move, and this is where potentially the race could be won or lost right here, because Benjamin Hausman is not going to be going anywhere near as quickly as Mafio can. The soft tires, a good run out of No Name now, and he's going to be up the inside to Puon. Really an exit from Mafio. It was such a good exit. He was able to pull back onto the racing line before Puon. That's how good it was. That's how much grip he's got on those soft compound tyres. And how much confidence he has in that Mercedes. So Mafio has dispatched of Benjamin Hausman in emphatic fashion through the middle sector, out of No Name, jumped on into Puon, and now on lap 15 and 22, it'll be soon lap 16 and 22. He's got about 6 or 7 laps to try and reel in 4.5 seconds to BRT Bentham without those soft compound tyres falling off the cliff. We did see in another motorsport earlier today where that exact scenario played out just in reverse. In reverse order. It was the leader on the softs and their tyres went. Did they hold on? Well, not to spoil them any more than I already have. But that is the situation we've got. Mafio on a set of softs is going to be hunting down McLaren of BRT Bentham. Bentham saving his ERS a bit. He's already gained a little bit more when I last saw Mafio. Well, that's the thing. Bentham's got the luxury to save the ERS. He's got a 4.3 second gap towards Mercedes, whereas, you know, as Line Pilot passes TMS Amaze to move up into P4 and tracking again, that Red Bull just hasn't looked settled all weekend, has it? Hasn't looked settled at all. And I mean, you should be able to hopefully bring it home for the Scotsman, but it certainly hasn't been a memorable day, has it, for the bridesmaid of LCR, TMS Amazed. But yeah, back towards the front, you know, Ventham's got that luxury of being able to save the battery. Mafio doesn't, he's chasing, he has to use the battery to try and, he's got to try and use everything at his disposal. Try and reel in that 4 second gap. If it was 5 seconds, he's got it down to 4.2. Use a bit of overtake here, but you just think potentially, you know, especially as the crossover in pace between the tyres happens, if it does happen, and especially with the ERS Bentham has in his disposal compared to Mafio, I think that Bentham would just pull the pin with the battery and get out of there, run away, run for your life. Get out of jail. That's Mafio again, you know. We said, being on those medium tyres at the start, even though it was clear what he was going for, especially when he went long, you know, he has gone for the soft compound tyres, and now that gap is under 4 seconds, and he's using the battery very carefully. This will say he's not going for it for big hits, it's just using it a little bit here and there. gap now. Oh, he's a little bit... He did into the source, but he's actually kind of made it work through Bruxelles there as well. But actually, I say he made it work. He's lost a bit of time, and it's not going to help his tyre life either. He's Mercedes, yeah, we're breaking that. The rear of the car just again laying him down ever so slightly. Looks tidy though. It looks very tidy through the middle sector, really, through the fast and flowing corners. Looks tidy. Losing a bit of time, I'd say, through Stavolo. As LCR Apex picks up another time penalty situation now. 3 seconds for Amaze, 9 seconds for Apex, 6 seconds for I'm Wolfie and the AlphaTauris. Yeah, apparently the AlphaTauris are quite close to one another. What tyres are they on, I ask myself? 6 and 9 lap old hards, respectively, between the two AlphaTauris. Interesting battle. P7 about to play out, despite I'm Wolfie having 6 seconds penalties to prevent the Chilean car and ensure actually keep it clean. 5 laps to go, I do believe. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, my math is correct, thank goodness. That's rather helpful at the age of 19. As Team Amaze is out on the exit of exit of the bus stop. I do believe that he has crashed out, or is it in the pit lane? No, it's in the pits. That's very strange from Team Amaze. And, well, despite Sora not being here, it definitely is job done for McLaren. If it wasn't already, they have definitely done the job now, as far as the constructors is concerned. So Mays has decided to back up his things and go home for the season, it looks like. And he'll go again next season, season 15. Well, the bridesmaid of LCR. Which is a good carnage. AlphaTauri not looking settled at all again. Seeing it a lot throughout for most of the drivers, just the cars not quite looking as settled as they'd maybe like. And I'm Ruffy will have DRS on his AlphaTauri compatriot. Here we go then, DRS for the AlphaTauri, overtake on, job done. I'm Ruffy, at least on track, moves into it's now P6. So Apex picks up another time penalty, which will now make it 12 seconds of penalties, I do believe. If you look at the penalty count, indeed, yeah, 12 seconds of penalties for LCR Apex, as Venthan starts lap 19 of 22. Yeah, we're interested to see if Woofy does have enough pace to maybe bridge out the gap, although I don't know, he does have a pace advantage. Does he have I can gain 6 seconds over you in the space of 4 laps pace advantage? Well, who knows? Yes, that is a question we're about to have an answer for in a few laps time. Meanwhile, gap at the front is under 3 seconds, and it will, I guess, now be interesting to see. And it's getting close to 2.5 seconds already down Lake Cobb. But again, Ben does have a lot of battery just ready to deploy. And kind of, I feel like Mafia is just going to get very, very close to what he wants, to where he wants to be, and that's within a second, and having DRS. But I just feel like that, as soon as he gets there, if he gets there, that Ventham just down one of the big straights is just going to pull the pin, and it'll be just agonising for Mafia, as he won't be able to do anything, as he has no battery to deploy. There's nothing to respond with. And of course, still, we've been talking about the battery so much between the two of them. The Mercedes still has, you have to remind ourselves, he's on 5 lap old sauce. Those mediums look like they were better hard tyres. Past their best after about 8 or 9 laps, so I dread to think what that's going to be for softs. Benjamin Halsman picks up a penalty. Interesting. Line Violet suddenly is 1.5 seconds away from an LCR podium once again. As we have 3 laps to go here in Spa-Francorchamps for the final race of LCR Season 14. Bjarne Ventham might just look like he has this a little bit covered. Yes, we'll see what the gap is at the end of this lap. And then, you can potentially with confidence say, yeah, barring a mistake, BRT Bentham does have this race covered, and he does look set to win his third ever LCR World Championship race. Claimed his first in Barcelona a few weeks ago. That was about round 8, if I'm not mistaken. And now, towards the end of the season, he looks like he's going to wrap up a couple more. He wrapped up another race victory in Monza last time out, and he looks like he's going to wrap another one up here in Belgium, and he's looking to stake his claim for season 50 and say, come on Team Sora, let's have it. You know, let's go. Gloves off. I fancy a piece of this. I want the LCR World title to my name, because at this rate I was only come within a point. I've just about missed out. As the gap now moves up to 3.7 seconds, and I think it's safe to say, well, so it was a valid strategy gamble. As far as the race win was concerned, I don't think it's going to quite work out. I think he looks fairly set, where they don't fall completely off the cliff. P2 is Mafio, but I think that gap, it was 2.6, 2.7, it's now 3.7. I think you can safely say, barring a massive error from BRT Bentham, that is that, and he will be claiming in 2 laps time his third ever LCR victory in his career. It'll be his third of the season. It's been a great season for BRT Bentham. He's been really consistent all season long, to be honest. And he, you know, just a couple things here or there haven't quite gone his way. And again, I look to Melbourne and just say, if you had finished, if you had decided to, you know, no matter how much you wouldn't have wanted to finish that race, no matter how much you'd potentially want to do something else, if he'd got through it mentally, if he'd got through it, you would be, I mean, we already know you'd be in position here in Spa, and who knows what kind of situation Sora would have had. Would have been, you know, would have been a case of he definitely wouldn't have been able to make today, or would it be a case that he decided not to make today, or would have been something, you know, down the centre, like, I could have made today, but I've got something else, and you know, the fact that I've won the title means I don't have to be here today. Who knows? So 2 AlphaTauri's doing battle as they start lap 21 and 22. On track, it looks like a very fascinating battle between the 2 AlphaTauris, albeit being quite a way away off the next car, especially leaders out front. Speaking of the leaders, they're already at the bus stop. So then, BRT Bentham rounds the bus stop chicane for the penultimate time, and he will start the last lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. He starts the last lap of LCR season 14, and what a season it has been, what a season we have been treated to. Here in LCR, we've had new winners. In LCR, we've had repeated winners, and we've had a great championship battle where a new world champion was crowned last week in Team Sora. We've had some fabulous races along the way. We have just under a lap left of LCR season 14 remaining here at Spa-Francorchamps. And BRT Bentham, well, from the minute he put that car onto provisional pole, he has looked unstoppable for the rest of the weekend, as he rounds no name for the final time of the season, of this race as well. He has looked in full control of this Grand Prix. That gap now up to 6 seconds between himself and Mafio. Through Stablo for the final time. He'll now be flat out on the run to the bus stop chicane. Plonchi wants to navigate as well. It's been a fantastic drive from BRT Bentham. Before I get to that, Light Pilot is in a very close battle for P3 with Benjamin Houseman. That's going to go down to the wire. We'll cover that in a bit. BRT Bentham though rounds the bus stop chicane. He will claim his third ever LCR race victory. It's his third race victory of the season. It's 2 in a row for the McLaren. BRT Bentham wins in Spa-Francorchamps Mafio will claim P2 in the Mercedes. Benjamin Hausman, has he just done enough out the bus stop to claim P3? I believe he has. Benjamin Hausman claims his third podium of the season, yet another P3 and a solid drive from the Alfa Romeo. LCR line pilot in the Williams claims P4, and now LCR Apex rounds launching on the final time into the bus stop for the final time for the Season 1 champion. Not going to be any memes from our Season 1 champion. There isn't. He crossed the line in 5th place. Well, as it might not have been on the pace of the front guy, it's still a decent result for the Aston Martin. I'm sure he'll take a very solid P5. And now we look towards the battle for P6. Joker Carnage will have it on penalties, but can Iron Wolf do anything to claim it on track? I look at the ERS between the two. I somewhat doubt that he's going to be able to do anything. Oh, he's much there on the brakes, so compared to the AlphaTauri, but nothing doing into the bus stop chicane. Joker Carnage will claim a very well-deserved P6 for AlphaTauri, and Iron Wolf will round off in P7. So that's that then. That is LCR Season 14 done and dusted. LCR Apex claims the game's driver of the day.
삼등 이름이 벤자민인데
The season to a close and BLT event would have got that gap down to a single point between himself and TMS Sora at the end of it. He will finish the season on 179 points compared to Sora's 180. But yeah, no, it's been a fantastic season. As mentioned, a new champion in TMS Sora, and BRT Bentham also at the front a lot throughout the season. It was very consistent. You know, he started the season with a couple podiums, and he was very consistent throughout the season with Sora, just a little bit more consistent throughout. And Sora was the world champion indeed, and BRT Bentham has to sell for second place in the standings. That's for today. Bentham is your race winner. Mafio comes home in P2. Yeah, another solid performance from the Mercedes. Benjamin Hausman, again, another solid performance from the Alfa Romeo. Claims his third ever LCR podium in P3. Light Violet finishes just behind him. Only a couple tenths fly away the penalty in P4. Season 1 champion LCR Apex claims P5. And then Chilical Carnage and I'm Woofy play P6 and P7 respectively. And TMS Amaze and Blue Goggy failed to finish. But yeah, as mentioned, that is that. The season 14 of LCR. It's been yeah, as I've already mentioned a few times, it's been a cracking season, a thoroughly enjoyable season to commentate, and I'm sure season 15 will be more the same once again as we move back to Sundays for the next season of LCR. Which, who knows how that's going to play out.
자, 오늘 이렇게 해서 레거시 월드 게임을 종료하도록 하겠습니다. 일단 시작을 해서 끝을 봐야 됐기 때문에 마지막 판은 달렸고요. 그리고 이제 나중에 혹시라도 또 이제 진행을 하게 된다면 다시 한번 새벽에 인사를 드리도록 하겠습니다. 이제 친구들께 메시지를 남기고 저는 이만 자러 가볼게요. 그러면은 모두 안녕히 계십시오.
And yeah, we'll see you all later. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.